When it comes to sad, pathetic things on the internet, I feel like I've seen it all. I'm like the Oracle from the Matrix. Nothing surprises me anymore. Yet, today I bore witness to something so tragically embarrassing on Twitch that it's making me reflect, and it's put me in a very somber state. I feel as though I'm at a funeral service. A streamer invited one of her mods to hang out with her in real life, and then did a stream that was an hour and 25 minutes of agonizing, miserable, inhumane torture. Waterboarding would have felt more pleasant for this mod, I imagine. She spends the entire stream basically just insulting him. He is the butt of every one of her jokes, and she kind of just reduces him to a spittoon for her and her chat to spit in and make fun of. Now, I think punching bags get treated with more respect than this guy did, and it only got worse the longer the stream went on. She had a donation goal where if the stream gave her $500, she would kiss him.
Oh god, fuck.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, one more shot, guys.
Dang.
If you ever want to get drunk really fast, just have to kiss Dilly, you'll be fucked up by the time the night's over.
That is soul-crushingly mean-spirited. That is downright diabolical. Saying if you want to get drunk, just try and kiss Dilly, you'll be fucked up by the end of the night. Saying that you have to be hammered to want to kiss this guy. And this is the attitude for the entire stream, so she makes it pretty clear that she can't really stand to be around him unless she is extraordinarily drunk, so the whole time she is drinking throughout the stream. They reach the donation goal, so now she's obligated to give him a little smooch.
Can't do it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Can you come closer?
Like this close? Okay.
Yes!
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Can you pucker up? Pucker up!
This is I have small lips.
You just nodded on me. You just nodded on me.
This is my allergy.
You went, and the little snots went on my leg.
It did? I'm
Yes!
so sorry.
It's okay.
Oh my god.
Alright, come on!
Okay.
Sorry! I need to wash my mouth.
If I was watching a hostage video where someone had kidnapped my grandmother, threatening to slit her throat unless I paid the ransom, I would honestly find that video to be less cruel and more humane than this Twitch stream I just watched. This is absolutely brutal. My heart breaks for this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's done to deserve this, but this is like a divine punishment here. This whole thing was her idea. This was her donation incentive. And now she's acting like it was the worst thing that ever happened to her. It's so bad, she's got to go rinse her mouth out. She's got to fucking brush her teeth and scrub it all down with soap and bleach just to try and erase the stain that his lips put upon hers. It's just evil. This whole stream is her basically just bullying this guy.
Well. Jesus Christ. Well. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm back, guys. Sorry, I'm good. I'm good.
She's putting on this big song and dance about how gross and disgusting this was, when it was her idea. She's doing this just to make him feel even worse, and put on a show for her chat at this guy's expense. Like, oh, this loveless loser virgin flew all the way here, and oh, I just had to kiss him. Like, that's so mean. And this should be a wake-up call to her chat that, like, donates money to her under this idea that she's going to like them or something like that, or parasocially donating to her because they think that they're going to be friends or even more than that. This should be the biggest wake-up call. Your third eye should be fucking beaming from your forehead right now with this out there. This is her mod, someone who literally, like, does a ton for her. And this is how he's getting treated in front of everybody. That's what she thinks of you as well. Now, like I said, it's not just this viral moment here. The very beginning of the stream comes out fucking guns blazing, going hog wild about this guy having no shot with her and that she doesn't even really respect him at all.
Yeah, Dilly's living the dream. Aren't you so happy to be here?
Yeah. It's my dream, y'all.
Yeah, I've been posting pictures of Dilly every single day on Discord, and this guy cannot hang. Dilly's eyes are fucked. It's because I have cats and he's allergic, and he has allergy medicine. Doesn't he look like Gru from Despicable Me. Sorry, every time I see Dilly, I just start laughing.
This is the very beginning of the stream. This is chapter 1. It's not even chapter 1. This is the prologue. And she immediately comes out of the gate saying that he looks like Gru from Despicable Me, and she can't help but laugh when she sees him. The stream doesn't even make it 5 full minutes without her making sure to insult him in front of everybody. He's just getting publicly flogged immediately. She is flaying him alive throughout most of the stream. Again, this whole hour and 25 minutes is basically just make fun of Dilly, and let the chat make fun of Dilly too. It's so mean-spirited. And this guy, again, I don't know anything about him. He wasn't even creepy or weird or awkward. He seemed like just a very normal guy. He even seems pretty nice and really not weird. Yes, he does come across as like a little lonely and a little socially shy, but there's no like red flags or anything alarming about this guy at all. This must have been hell on earth for him to not only get invited out by the person that he clearly cares about since he mods for her, but to go there and then just be perpetually insulted directly by that person and the community that you mod for, having all these tomatoes thrown at you throughout the whole thing. And on top of all of that, be surrounded by cats which trigger his allergies. The misery must have been indescribable. Like, I'm getting parasocial with it because I actually just really do feel bad for him here. Like, brother, come on. Have some more self-respect. Have some more confidence. You deserve it. You deserve better than this treatment here. That was just so mean. Now, I already know the cope. I know what the excuse is going to be. Oh, she's clearly just pushing his buttons. They're just joshing around. They're very close friends, obviously. But I don't get that impression at all. These aren't jokes I would tell to even my best friend Matt, who I've known since middle school. A lot of what she says to and about Dilly is just downright nasty. I would never say to Matt, like, the only reason, you know, your wife ever kissed you is because she must have been blackout drunk and forgot what you looked like or something. That's just so fucked up. And, like, she makes statements like that pretty often throughout this stream. These aren't really jokes. She is just insulting this guy as much as possible to make him a laughingstock for her stream.
Cute couple, Vivi are not dating. I did not claim this.
Yo.
Sorry, that's so mean, but don't claim it. So yeah, 1 hour stream, so every minute counts. I made a donation goal of $500. I will kiss Dilly. So we hit it. But hopefully, I will be drunk for that. Let's take the first shot of the night, yeah? Is it too early?
No. Cheers.
The way she responded to the cute couple statement seemed like she was genuinely offended anyone would even say something like that. Now, keep in mind, she's still sober right here, so this is still her insulting him with the training wheels on. She hasn't even taken the gloves off yet. It gets really bad shortly after.
I made all the boys go with Dilly to help change his pants. So I think Dilly threw away his chunky throat pants in the trash. Dilly had the same size hands.
No,
oh my god.
God.
You have baby hands.
No way.
Yeah, we have the same size hands. That means you have a small dick.
The astute observers out there will have noticed that I put the stream to 2 times speed during her story times, and I'll openly admit to it. The reason is because it was genuinely painful listening to her tell those stories because it's just shitting on Dilly. She's putting him on blast as frequently as possible, sharing his most embarrassing moments, so giving his lowlights. Here's the worst of moments with Dilly. Here's what Dilly did that was so embarrassing last night. You guys need to hear this. It's just, again, so unnecessarily mean. And then, of course, she has to do something about penis size, so she says, we have the same size hands, which means you have a tiny dick. Your hands aren't even the same size. His hands are visibly bigger than yours, but again, this is just being rude for the sake of it. Nobody is meaner to tier 3 subs or Twitch mods than the streamer themselves, it seems. She is so much nastier to her mod than anyone on Twitter has ever been to any mod for any streamer ever. Now, there are a couple times in the stream that she says that they're good friends, so it's all, you know, in good fun. And what a load of dirty barnacles. I think she says that to try and convince Dilly, and Dilly, he believes it. Dilly's bought into that fantasy. This does not strike me as 2 people that are friends. This strikes me as her using him for content, as a punching bag. That's what this all seems like. No friend dynamic is like this. No friendship goes like this. Of course you're going to joke around with your friends. You're going to get mean with your friends, but at the end of the day, you're close and you know that there's no actual bad blood or malicious intent there. I do not get that vibe from this interaction at all, because it is unrelenting for an hour and 25 minutes, and what I'm about to show you here, I think is the most foul thing that she said throughout it.
Oh my god, so either go back with my ex or get with Tilly for 6 months. Fuck. Okay, so in case you guys know or don't know, I don't want to say his name out loud. This ex fucking traumatized me. He had a gambling addiction, drug addiction, porn addiction. Like, he actually fucked me up. Okay, so either go through like trauma and emotional abuse or date Tilly for 6 months. Try to get back with my ex. Okay, next question. Is it true that you
It's in 2 times speed because, again, she was going on a montage of degrading him. And then it got to that question. Would you rather get back with your ex, who apparently traumatized her, or date Dilly for 6 months? And she chooses her ex. And then just laughs it off. She would rather be in, I guess, this emotionally abusive situation that she called it, and be traumatized, than be with Dilly for 6 months. Why would you even answer this question in the first place? That is so fucked up. I was stunned when that came around. Like, she knows Dilly is clearly interested in her romantically, and yet she uses that as the butt of the jokes. Like, half of the stream is making it clear that she feels she is so out of his league, so superior to him, that the comedy is that people would even suggest there's a chance. So this question rolls around, and she's like, oh yeah, I'd definitely just go back with the ex. Definitely wouldn't go back or go with Dilly for 6 months. I'd rather be emotionally abused than spend time with this guy. In front of his face, too. The guy who basically does work for you on your streams by modding, who has also now gone out of his way to hang out with you in real life and on your stream for your content. And now he has to sit there and hear that you would rather be emotionally abused and traumatized than date him for 6 months. This guy who obviously cares about you. I can't even imagine what a statement like that must feel like to hear. And he has to keep himself composed because she's broadcasting all of this to her audience publicly. I've never met anyone that I've had any kind of relationship with, a friend or even an acquaintance, that has said something that even teeters on as mean as what she just did right there. And she did it right to the face of someone who very clearly cares a lot about her. Now, she laughs it off and moves on to the next question, and I think Dilly has been brainwashed by her into thinking that he's a good friend of hers. But Dilly, I'm just going to hit you with the cold water. Friends don't treat each other this way. She is treating you like a subhuman pile of garbage.
Me personally, I would not hit. So, yeah, there is a right or wrong answer. Well, me personally... How about you rate me first?
10 out of 10.
Oh, fuck, you know, I'm not ready to rate. I'm just gonna drink.
That means I'm a 6. It's okay.
If it was a 6, I would have said that out loud.
Oh.
Anyways.
Again, it's just an absolute flurry of disrespect from her towards Dilly. But I wanted to show this clip here at the end because I think this is a great summation of how this whole experience went, where he rates her a 10 out of 10, and then she refuses to rate him, so he playfully's like, oh, okay, that must mean like I'm a 6. And then she didn't have to say anything. She could have just moved on to the next question, but she went out of her way to let him know that that's not the case. So she says, if it was a 6, I would have said it out loud. Anyway, just trying to take another little stab, drive the dagger deep inside of his heart here to let him know that he is beneath her. He's not a 6 to her, and he needs to know it. It's so unnecessarily mean. It's just being an asshole and nothing more. She puts him down every chance she can find. She attacks every single one of his perceived weaknesses in her eyes, and is doing everything in her power to publicly humiliate and degrade him. It is not friendly. There is nothing jovial about this whole stream at all. It is mean-spirited and just really fucking sad. Like I mentioned, there was a couple of times she tried to cushion the blows, like, oh, we're such good friends, this is all okay. And then when one of the questions during Truth or Drink is, what was your favorite thing about Dilly? She says that he's nice, and that he's like just super nice and not awkward. Those are the only couple of instances where she wasn't just shitting on him. And I think she did that because she could see from the chat that people were dogpiling onto Dilly, and it is just a really uncomfortable stream entirely.
How likely is it for him to pick up a girl tonight?
I'm gonna to this, honestly.
Honestly, you're not getting shit. I think maybe a girl would be down to dance with you, you know?
That's a win.
But there's no way. I don't think you're getting any girls' numbers or going home with. I'm gonna say it's a 0 out of 10.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't bring anyone back here, but
I would let you. I'm a good friend, so if you wanted to bring a girl back here, you can. But I'm just being honest. I don't see it. Prove me wrong, though. You know, prove me wrong.
I was perfectly content to not show you any more clips from the stream. I was just about to end the video, but then I remembered this moment, and I just had to showcase it. Even if it's not directly about her, she won't even let him think he has a chance with any girl, for that matter. None. Like, he's not even allowed to go into the club with a good mindset. They're going to a club later this evening, and they were getting hype for it. Like, chat was asking, hey, do you think he has a chance with a girl? And this was her response to it. He's not even allowed to have a good mentality going into it because she's already shitting on him beforehand to bring his self-esteem down. It's just bullying. Like, she is just a bully to this guy. It just doesn't end. He's not allowed to breathe for a second, A, because of the allergies that he's subjected to, but B, because she is constantly this miasma of hate to him. Like, it's just so negative. If this was actually any semblance of a friend, she would have lifted him up like, yeah, you're gonna get some pussy tonight, let's go, you know, let's have a good time out there tonight. That's not what she's doing. She's immediately putting him down. Again, for the millionth time this stream.
Who's better looking, Dilly or your ex? My ex. Next question. Do you ever have any feelings for any of your mods, including him? Hell no. That's why they're my mods.
Last clip from this stream, I promise, but I thought this was an important one. I have for a long time preached about how awful parasocial relationships are and how prevalent it is in streaming. I think hearing her say this should have snapped a ton of people out of that mentality that just by donating to somebody or modding for somebody in this case, that all of a sudden they're going to somehow develop feelings for you or something. Doesn't happen. It won't happen. And that is not a healthy mindset for you as a viewer to be in. I wanted to put this here because she just says it with her whole chest right in front of Dilly. Again, per usual here for this stream. But this is actually an important lesson to learn. Just because you mod for somebody or donate to somebody, if you're a tier 3 sub to somebody, if you've been sub to somebody for years, they are not all of a sudden your best friend, and they are not obligated to fall in love with you or have feelings for you. So, tough pill to swallow for some, I'm sure, but it needs to get through. Now, all that being said, what Dilly was subjected to here is nothing shy of heinous. Nobody deserves this level of public humiliation, and I feel extremely bad for him, and I'm just genuinely wishing him the best going forward. I just had to talk about this because it is one of the downright meanest and saddest streams I've ever seen on Twitch. Like, probably ever, I think. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. There's a crazy clip from Pokemon's stream going viral right now that I really want to talk about, but it also made me want to speak on a story I've never told about an experience I've had that's somewhat similar to the one she describes here, at least in terms of creepiness. And, well, now I finally have a reason to get that baby off my chest here, so that's gonna be cathartic. Let's dive in.
Many, many years ago, when I was like super omega active on YouTube and I was working with a lot of different editors, there was one editor in particular that I would work with a lot because his edits were really, really good, but he had one major problem, which was that sometimes out of nowhere his videos would just be like a week or two late. Months go by and he messages me out of the blue and he says, "Hey, do you have time to talk? I'm ready to finally tell you why I've been struggling so much with deadlines."
In the history of the human race, I don't think there has ever been a good ending to the sentence, "Hey, do you have a minute to talk?" That always precedes the most vile shit you'll ever hear in your life. I can't even imagine a situation where you'd hear that sentence and think anything other than the most negative thing you'll ever hear is about to happen. Like, imagine you're in heaven and the Lord pulls you aside right in front of the pearly gates and he says, "Hey, you got a minute to talk?" Well, you immediately assume you're just going to hell. Like, there's just no world where that sentence ever precedes good news.
Tell me why he proceeds to tell me that the reason why he would sometimes turnaround videos a week or two late is because he couldn't stop touching himself. I was trying to pick which word to use. To me, his, in a way, employer of many, many months.
Stop for a second and really let that stew in your noodle. Let it marinate for a bit. How Coomer-brained must you be not only to do this degenerate act of just fucking beating your meat to a streamer's gameplay footage that you're editing, but then tell her that the reason you're late on some of the edits is because you can't stop squeezing your hog to the footage that she sends you. There are so many layers to this onion here. Let's just start by picking apart the most obvious. Why? Now, I know in the most severe cases of porn addicts, they'll sometimes try and communicate directly to the porn star by, like, leaving comments or sending messages or whatever, and that's always the saddest shit you'll ever see. That'll bring a tear to even the strongest man's eyes. Occasionally you'll see those moments where dudes try and directly communicate to the porn star, leaving comments on their posts saying things like, "Can't wait to watch this one when I'm off work," or "When my wife goes to bed, that's when the bad boy will play. Thanks for providing me with tonight's entertainment," whatever. Like, just leaving these desperate posts, you know, cock in hand, giving a salute, like, "Thank you, madame, for your service. This will be a legendary gooning sesh." But even in those cases, they're communicating with someone they don't know. This guy was her editor for many months. And he was not only jerking off to the content he was being sent, which was just gameplay videos, I imagine, or like just chatting stream moments, nothing even sexual, and he was still choking the chicken to it, fucking playing the skin flute, and then had the gall to tell her that he was doing that, is just incomprehensibly unhinged. She was his boss. She was employing him. So he basically went right through HR, bypassed that protocol, went straight to the top of the food chain, kicked in the door, and said, "Listen, boss, I'm fucking obliterating my wiener, and what are you gonna do about it? That's why I've been late on my deadlines." Like, I don't think he came in with that energy. I bet he was, like, super shy about it. He was probably like, "Oh, Pokimane, so I know I've been kind of late recently, but it's only because I was, ooh, how do you say, jerking off to your work."
When I tell you I've never halted a conversation so fast, because I'm like, you are the person that I send like hours of footage to. I don't want to know what you're jacking it to. I don't want to know more. I shouldn't even know how much I know right now. I shouldn't know.
I'd actually argue that it's better she did know this, no matter how awful it is, but that way she can get the fuck away from this weirdo ASAP. Just say, "Take a hike, Buster. This is fucking terrible."
But I felt so bad. So when he's like, you know, like, this is like an addiction of mine, I genuinely felt really, really bad. So I still paid him for months. What the hell do I do? Fire him? Am I even allowed to fire someone because they're...
That's definitely towards the top of the list for the best reasons to fire someone. That actually might be reason number one why you could go ahead and can somebody. Because they can't stop fucking beating their cock to you, their employer. And they're also not doing their job well by being 1 to 2 weeks late. Which, by the way, is a long time of just fucking gooning here. This degenerate would miss his deadlines by a week or even up to 2 weeks because he was obsessively polishing his scepter to his employer. You 100% can and should fire someone like this. It's not like the Better Business Bureau is going to defend him. You're not going to have agents show up at your door knocking and be like, "Hey, listen, we know what happened here. You discriminated against this kind, gentle sir. You fired him just because he was obsessively masturbating to you. Well, I'll have you know this is a free country, ma'am. This is a civilized society. You can't fire someone for that. There's no crime. What is the charge? Busting a nut? An immaculate, gooey nut? This is democracy manifest." Like that just wouldn't happen. But I actually understand why she was hesitant to do that. And this is where I'm going to get into a story I don't think I've ever told. I'm pretty sure I haven't. Where I had something somewhat similar happen a long time ago. Not to this level, but something closely related. So a while back, I used to just accept any voice acting role I was offered by any human being with a pulse on the planet. If they said they needed voice lines done, I would do them for free just because I really enjoyed doing it. It's actually how I met Jackson, and if you have ever watched the official podcast, you'll know that our X-Men origin story between Jackson and I's friendship is that Jackson actually scammed me through this process. He sent me an email asking if I'd be down to do voice work for his upcoming game, and then sent me like some in-game screenshots and promotional screenshots that were actually just Dark Souls images that he photoshopped to fit his game style that he tried to sell me on. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm definitely down to do voice work. And it turns out he never had that game, he just wanted to play games together, and we did, and ended up becoming extremely close friends, and now we make God Slap together. Like, he's been a friend of mine for almost a decade now. And it came from that. But there's definitely a dark side to that. The Sith Lords definitely did exploit that very stupid thing I used to do, just accepting any voice acting roles ever from anybody. So, I think this was after I had met Jackson and after we were friends. I can't quite remember the exact chronological timeline here, but I received a very interesting email from a very peculiar man that under any other circumstances probably would have triggered red flags in a sensible person's mind, but for me, I saw the word like voice acting opportunity and I was like, I'm in. Say no more. So I emailed him back saying that I was absolutely down to do this and when should we get to work on it. So we communicated back and forth a little bit and eventually set up a Skype call, because this is when Skype was still popular. I think one of the best things that's happened in modern day is that Skype has died. That was legitimately just like fucking official malware. That was the worst program that ever saw success, and I am embarrassed that it ever got as popular as it did. But this was a different time and day back then. So we went in Skype and we had our first voice call a couple days after that initial email came through. And it wasn't like super weird. He conducted himself pretty professionally. He was trying to tell me about the game. I don't remember all the details around it. It was a game that never was going to happen, though. It was unbelievably ambitious. It was some kind of like MMO hack and slash with like a super deep branching plot lines, all made by him, the solo dev. He was just spamming every buzzword he could about this game, but again, it didn't matter to me because it was voice acting work, and I wanted to get the reps in. And so I just said, yeah, like, I'm super on board. Let's stay in contact. You can send me the script and whatever else you need. And that was kind of the end of our, like, introductory call. And man, did I open Pandora's box. Pretty much immediately after that call, he would start messaging me on Skype often. And it wasn't about the project all the time. Sometimes it was just about his day, which I would engage with. I'd be like, oh, it's really interesting to hear about how your day's been going. Thanks so much for sharing. And then he'd start tiptoeing into like some other small talk. It started to feel like he was interrogating me sometimes, where he'd be like, so what'd you do today? And I'd tell him, be like, oh, so like, you didn't really respond earlier. I thought you were just doing something really important, but you were just hanging out at home? That's kind of weird. Like, what, are you sure that's all you're doing? I was like, brother, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm just not like always on Skype. He's like, oh, no, that's fine. You just didn't respond to me. And then he'd start gradually asking more and more questions, like questions you would ask someone on like the most awkward first date imaginable if you were some kind of Reddit mod. He'd be like asking me certain things like about anime and just like general interests and shit. And this is right before I had graduated college. I was still in college because I remember he was asking me about how my schooling was going. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's going well. How's your project going? And he'd tell me some shit that I know wasn't happening. He's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of work done today on the game. I was in C# really just fucking in my flow state. Like, I took like the limitless pill and man, I programmed fucking 15 trees and I have 17 actors doing mocap for me and they're all martial arts specialists, so the hack and slash animations are top notch. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Do you have like that script or anything ready? He's like, oh, it's still being worked on. And then he just keep kicking that can down the road and change the topic of like, but enough about the game. Tell me about exercise physiology. What's that like? It's like, brother, you're not my mom. Like, why are you checking in like this? I don't care. And we're not really like close or anything. So why would you get upset if I don't like respond to you in a timely enough fashion? Like, it was just a disaster. So this went on for like a few weeks of this kind of stuff happening every couple of days, and I was ready to just wash my hands of it and just say, all right, this voice work isn't worth, I'm not getting the the juice isn't worth the squeeze, as they say. So I kind of just started to let that peter out. I'd really very rarely respond to him, so he'd send me like a few messages over the course of like a week or two that I just would ignore. And then it got really bad. This guy was sending me like deep messages, and some of them just very unsettling. And then he eventually sent me a message talking about how he's about to end it all. And, you know, he doesn't expect me to respond since I haven't responded in so long, but he just wanted me to know how much our friendship meant to him and all that. And I fucking freaked out, immediately responded to that when I saw it, and then he once again just switched gears and was like talking about my day and his day and this and that, and once again, just going down this small talk and then like interrogating me like, well, why haven't you been responding? So that I had to come up with a story like, oh, just haven't been checking Skype for the last few weeks, you know, just stuff going on. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, okay, yeah, I'm sure, and then getting upset and whatever. I recommended him getting like professional help, which he claimed he was doing and seeking, but it wasn't really working. The only thing that really helped him was our little chit-chats back and forth. So obviously I kept that door open, and luckily the frequency of his messages was much slower, so over the course of a few months now, the messages were far less often. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it still just felt miserable to keep this communication open. It felt like a hostage situation where like if I didn't respond, he might do something, and it was scary. And as this continued for quite some time, he'd make threats occasionally of harming himself if I didn't respond in like a fucking speedrun fashion to one of his messages. When I got into a relationship, he sent a really creepy message about like, well, is it serious? Why is it serious? What do you see in her? That kind of thing. Like, it was all really alarming shit. And I'm not going to keep boring you with details here, but similar to how Pokimane didn't immediately fire that guy because she like felt bad for him or was like a little afraid of what might happen or whatever, it's easy to take a step back when you're not involved in it and just be like, oh, this is what you should have done. But when you're actually in one of these like really weird fucking situations on like a personal level here, it's just a little harder to do that. So I do understand that, but again, definitely the right course was firing that guy. In my situation, eventually what I did was I just stopped responding. If he did send me one of those messages, I would reply just telling him he needs professional help, and I won't talk further about these kind of things with him because I am not a professional. I'm not equipped to deal with that or handle that or help him in any way. He needs real help. And that would be how I'd respond to those messages when he sent them, and he eventually stopped. But that went on for a long time. But yeah, anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about all this. That's about it. See ya. So Ruby Rose is a very popular individual right now, and she posted this on Twitter today. I ran into my #1 spender on OnlyFans, and we are blessed with two magnificent pictures here. On the left, it is Ruby Rose posing with her #1 piggy bank dumper. Now let's turn our attention to Exhibit B, and we can get the statistics. So he has been subscribed to her OnlyFans for a month, and has spent a total of $62,000. 62,000 clams. Now, if I may for a moment, I'm going to channel my inner method actor here and do an impression for you. This is his financial advisor upon checking his credit card statements. Thank you very much. I'm the next Jim Carrey, what can I say? 62,000 doubloons he has spent in presumably 1 month on her OnlyFans, I think. I think that's how it works. I don't know if you can spend money on someone's OnlyFans without also being subscribed. So I think he is speed running bankruptcy through OnlyFans purchases. Man's making George Santos look like a small fry. This is wildness. Now let's go back to just the tweet itself. I ran into my #1 spender on OnlyFans. Miss Rose, I have breaking news. You did not just run into this guy by pure accident. This was not happenstance, a coincidence, a twist of fate. This man absolutely went out of his way to find you and run into you. So while it may have been an accident on your part, perhaps, that you happened to run into him, this was a calculated maneuver from him, I have no doubt. I can already just see him in the bathroom mirror doing his hands like this, scheming. Okay, I know where she's gonna be. Game time. I'll introduce myself. And then, at the end of the day, dude spends 62 grand and doesn't even get a hug in the picture. There is no contact between the two of them in this photograph there. She is still wisely keeping her distance from this guy. Not even like a hover hand or anything at all. But I'm not his dad or anything. I'm not gonna go over and slap the wiener out of his hand. If he wants to spend $62,000 on OnlyFans, all power to him. But you have to wonder, what does he do to be able to afford $62,000 on a single person's OnlyFans? So I tried to find the scoop, and I didn't have to search very long or very hard because people also were very curious and found a lot of information on him. So allegedly, he is a crypto millionaire. He hit it big in the crypto boom, and that's where he got most of his money from, allegedly. I can't 100% confirm that, but... And then the most interesting discovery occurred up there with, like, finding the One Piece. They found out that this guy is most likely the same guy from MTV's True Life I'm Addicted to Porn. And they found this image here. His shirt goes insano style, by the way. It says "Born for Porn," which I believe should just be a crime, like a charge, if you just wear that in general. But anyway, logically it made sense. Someone spending $62,000 on OnlyFans, a single OnlyFans model, is absolutely addicted to porn in some way. And it seems like, through this evidence, he may have been addicted to porn for quite a long time. So, I went to the archives. I went to watch the episode itself. Turns out it's on Hulu, Season 12, Episode 6 of True Life. His name is Brandon. He was 26 years old at the time of filming in 2009. So his meat has not known a night of peace in over a decade now. Since 2009, he has been non-stop playing the skin flute, a symphony to the tune of porn that never ends. The porn industry has got his scrotum in a death grip and it has not let go. Now, the True Life episode has Brandon talk about his addiction, and addiction in all of its forms is an extremely sad thing, and porn addiction is a legitimate illness. It's a real thing. And Brandon talks about how it's affected his real-life relationships, and also it's kind of led him to have this inability to focus on things that are important, like getting a job. There's like a little chunk of time dedicated to his job search, where he spends 30 minutes going through Craigslist looking for job listings, and then after 30 minutes, he just starts watching porn for 2 hours. And he says that he watches porn between 5 to 10 hours a day. 5 to 10 hours a day watching porn. That is an incomprehensibly outrageous amount of time to be dedicated to watching anything at all. It's so sad. And it doesn't seem like he's gotten any better considering how much he is spending on just one OnlyFans model. Now, I'm not big dumb idiot enough to believe everything MTV shows. A lot of it is probably fabricated, exaggerated, and all that. But it's worth mentioning at the end of the episode, things are looking up for Brandon. There's the big come to Jesus moment where he's like, you know what? Porn is a problem. It's gotta go. Time to scram. Get out of town. No more porn. Time to get my life together. And the episode ends with him getting a part-time job working at a bar. And I don't know if any of that was real or not, but it doesn't seem like a whole lot has changed when it comes to Brandon's relationship with pornography, considering how much money he is currently spending on one OnlyFans model. It seems like the only thing that has improved for Brandon since that episode in 2009 is his financial situation. He was struggling to get a job then. I don't know if he has a job now, but he certainly does have a lot of disposable income, it appears. But anyway, as I mentioned, addiction in any of its forms is a horrible thing, so I do legitimately feel bad for him. And also, this isn't even where the rabbit hole ends on this guy. It also seems like he was friends with Juice WRLD. He recorded at least 2 videos like this, and it seems like they must have known each other, unless Brandon happened to have broken into Juice WRLD's place and then filmed these TikToks. I think they're TikToks. Obviously, this has nothing to do with the OnlyFans spending, but just another really weird tidbit of lore around this guy. But anyway, I think the important takeaway here is don't be like Brandon. Yes, he may have potentially hit it big with crypto, but it seems like the only things he's spending that money on is OnlyFans and, I would assume, other porn avenues. Like, that seems to be where all of that goes towards. I really don't know how long he can do that for. He is very much a porn addict. Even the shirt he's wearing in the picture with Ruby Rose says, "If I die, delete browser history." Porn has become his entire personality. Like, it's like his whole being. And that's just not healthy at all. But you know what is healthy? Helping others. So this holiday season, we're doing what we did last year at Mana, where we're raising money for the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. Last year we raised over $110,000. It was an incredible series of streams that we did, and this year we're looking to do it again, but adding a few new things, such as these sticker packs. So this one's obviously me, this one is Jimmy here, and this is, of course, GB. So myself, GB, and Jimmy are doing Mana Impact, and raising money for the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation, which is an organization that aims to alleviate the suffering caused from mental illnesses through awarding grants that will help lead to breakthrough research. And it's just an overall great organization. So again, if you're looking to help support in any way, there's a link in the description below, and $10 or more gets you the cute stickers. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that here at the end of the video. Anyway, that's about it. So yeah. Hey, you'll never guess who just got COVID again. Not this guy. No, yeah, I'm just pulling your leg. It is me. How'd you going, though? I fooled you with the old razzle-dazzle. I've got the old coronavirus for the third time, the legendary three-peat. I catch COVID more often than Ash Ketchum catches Pokemon, and it makes me really, really upset. But luckily, the doctor prescribed the most potent remedy to fix this, a panacea, if you will. The cut. Last time I had COVID, I watched The Button. This time, I'm watching my new favorite Redditor identify porn stars.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Anya.
Today you're guessing who's a porn star.
Okay.
How much do you know about porn?
Probably not as much as I think I do.
Do you watch porn?
Of course, like who doesn't? Bigger is better for me, and I like bigger butt and bigger boobs.
Right away, he just gets me on his side because he's doing the snap. Bigger butts, bigger boobs. It reminds me of SpongeBob and Rock Bottom. Bigger butts, bigger boobs. So, I like his style. I'm going to be honest, I think there's a chance he's just hamming it up for the camera, and he's not normally this quirky, but I don't care. I'm going to suspend disbelief and just enjoy this specimen.
You get a chance to ask some questions.
Oh, actually, I wrote them down when I was waiting. I have a sticky note. Can I use the sticky note?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. First, before we start, I'd like to thank every single one of you who is an adult actor movie, because you make my day every single day.
Who do you
Every single day? That's a lot of porn consumption. You make my day every day. He's talking about it like it's some kind of holy ritual. Hey, all power to you, bud, I guess. Now, he's not the only contestant here, but he's the only one that I want to focus on because he is the most entertaining. The game is identifying who's the adult movie star based on a series of questions they ask. And this guy is like the raid boss of porn knowledge. Man's got an encyclopedia in his brain for anything involving mashing pissers on film.
Would your male genital size matter, or the mastery of you using it matter most?
I think size matters, but the connection is more important.
Yeah, see, this is a family guy. No way he's a porn star.
This guy really thought he could pull a fast one on the ace Redditor. It only took him one question, and the question is as old as time itself that stumped scholars for generations. Does size matter? Or is it about the mastery of the wiener? To which he responds with an answer that was less than satisfactory to our protagonist. I guess the connection is the thing that matters least in porn. I don't really know. I'm not going to pretend that I'm some kind of porn connoisseur, but I trust the Redditor.
Yeah, you look great. People would want to watch you, bang people or get banged by other people. What would you say is your most attractive feature?
My ass.
Pansexual.
Yeah, and polyamorous, so.
Or, okay. No, I mean, same.
No,
like,
I am. Yeah.
Would you say that the human interaction matters in the adult movies?
Honestly, I would say so, yeah. Because, when I watch porn, I like to see people actually connecting and not being fake.
Milady, I definitely think that you're not an adult industry actor.
Okay.
That was the coldest Milady ever dropped in the history of our species. He just used Milady in a way that, melted my heart. I was like, oh, shit. This man, he means business. He is too fucking good at this game. I think it's because he knows every single porn star in existence, so he probably walked into this room and immediately recognized who's in the adult industry, so he already knows the answer to the questions. He just does this to kind of play along a little bit and have fun. The other two contestants asked her questions, and her answers made it seem like she's definitely in the porn industry. But meanwhile, this guy's just asking her, what about the connection? And then he immediately starts doing complex algorithms in his head, making all kinds of deep calculations, and then eventually concludes, "Milady, you are not an adult actress. Please, scram. Take a hike."
This is definitely the best thing that ever happened to me because, I mean, just being with such a gorgeous female is thrilling. My heart is pumping hard. As a person who vibes for the feelings, I believe a person such attractive would not waste her time in the adult industry.
Do you think people enjoy being in the adult industry?
I believe males enjoy it more than ladies because for the ladies it is a higher demand for their qualifications.
He didn't even need a question for this round. He was able to eyeball it. He is a porn savant. Instead, he spends his time rizzing her up a little bit, talking about it being the best moment of his life. It's making his heart pump so hard, it's so thrilling. He goes full Shakespearean on this for a bit. You know, "Milady doth made me come in me trousers." It's a little more like pirate themed than Shakespeare. But yeah, I was half expecting him to reach out for a fist bump before sending her back in line, because he knew she wasn't in the adult industry. I just love the way he speaks. He's projecting himself, like his voice, as though he's giving a class project presentation. Like he's making a speech, a monologue, if you will.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. For males, the biggest determination of them being an adult actor is the size of their male genitalia. What is the size of a manhood?
6 inches.
Man, come on, you're less than me? Oh God, I love today, come on. You definitely are not an adult industry person.
Those are fighting words right there. To his face, the disrespect. He's just trying to casually flex here in front of the porn stars that might be watching that he has a penis in excess of 6 inches, allegedly. But he didn't hang hog, so we don't know for sure if it's true or not. But I mean, I have no reason to doubt him. All I have to wonder is, why is he blasting this guy for no reason? We caught just a glimpse of his true power right there. For a brief moment, his mask cracked, and we saw the devilish R-atheism supervillain lying beneath the nice guy exterior. In this moment, he is euphoric, not because of some phony god's blessing, but because he is enlightened by the size of his cock.
Because working 40 to 60 hours a week sounds like a lot of porn to make. What's the duty cycle on a vagina? That's what I got.
I'm gonna say not a porn star.
I think you are in the adult industry. So I believe this is the most wifey costume you can put on. You definitely carry a nice big front, and it's really hard to say for the bag because of the dress, but I believe the bag definitely fits the front as well.
He is the only contestant to say that she is in the adult industry, which is interesting to go against the grain like that. The others were confident that she is not a porn star. However, our main character thinks differently. Like, he is actually built different. It's like watching Michael Jordan in his prime. If Michael Jordan picked out porn stars instead of playing basketball. Like, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And you can't even contain him, because he's watching porn every day and blowing his load. This is a man who is at the top of his game.
That's valid. The main question is, what is the size of your package?
7 1/4.
Yeah, see, this dude beats me, so most definitely a 1.
How many do you think you guessed correctly?
I would say 2.
Okay, with a show of hands, who did Matt guess correctly? Take a look.
Okay. Boy, I'm on fire today, come on!
Look at him. No one. Look at that. Now just imagine the dick. Go on, big dick.
So here comes all the big reveals, and what if I told you our Redditor Matt actually fucking blew it? What if I told you he was so goddamn bad at this? Would you believe me? Because you should. He did not perform super well here, unfortunately. It wasn't the best showing from our boy. He's gonna have to hit the books again and start doing a little more research on porn. So they're going down the entire lineup here. The first guy... Okay, sorry. Had to blast you with that real quick. The first guy that the other dude calls Big Dick is a porn actor. So, Matt was wrong there. He did not guess that correctly.
Did you get your runner right?
You got me wrong. You said I wasn't in the industry, but I am.
Okay. I should have guessed that.
Why should you have guessed that I was in the industry?
The open top, the open personality, the rebellious boots, and the tattoos.
Hindsight's 20/20, Matt. Unfortunately, he's 0 for 2 right now in this performance, and he's backpedaling a little bit here. He's talking about what he could have done differently, you know, if he had drawn up a better game plan, maybe if he had asked more questions instead of just like looking at somebody and immediately making the judgment on whether or not they're a porn actor or not. He probably could have done a little bit better. But you can't fault him for being confident in his abilities. This man is apparently, you know, jerking his meat every single day. You would expect him to at least recognize who is and who isn't based on very little. Because this man he's in like the cerebro of porn, apparently, since he says, you know, porn actors make his day every day. So I can't exactly be surprised that he was this confident.
Where have I been wrong and where have I been right about the adult industry overall?
I think that you think that a lot of people don't like the connective part of it, like what I said earlier. Actually, a lot of people in the industry, we do like to actually have connections with like the people that we're working with, like even if we're just friends.
Cool.
Yeah.
This definitely is a learning moment. You know nothing about the people.
I love that he's giving them like an exit survey. Excuse me, madame. What exactly did I do wrong here? What am I missing? Because surely I may have overlooked some details here to have been incorrect in my assumptions. Can you educate me? To which he does like, hey, you know, the connection does matter to a lot of people in the industry. And he's like, does it now? You learn something new every day.
Did you remove any of your ribs?
No.
Because I've never seen such a thin waist.
Well, I've had 2 BBLs, so.
I don't know what that is.
It stands for Brazilian butt lift, and it's also known as fat transfer, where they liposuction your waist or other parts of your body and usually move it to the buttocks.
How much that costs? Because I need to get that out of my body immediately.
It depends where you go. Miami's like really cheap, actually.
Okay, we're going to Florida.
Matt, I speak on behalf of everybody in Florida. We welcome you with open arms, buddy. I can't wait to see you down here. I also like that he's pretending to not know what a BBL is. I feel like that's become so like prevalent with people talking about it that he had to know and he was just playing it a bit coy, which I respect. Though I do think it's a little odd that he'd open with, have you had any ribs removed? But anyway, I don't know if the world's ready for Matt with a BBL. I don't know if we can handle it. That'd be like Cell reaching his perfect form. Matt being caked up for no reason on a Tuesday, just fucking let it rip. Matt with the BBL would go insano style.
You guessed me wrong. I am in the adult entertainment industry.
Come on.
You got me wrong.
I got you wrong.
I do not make porn.
Did you ever think about it?
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
Now he's just speed running his shame. The guy that he belittled for saying that his manhood was not big enough to be in the adult industry because it's less than him is like, actually, no, you were wrong. I am in the adult industry, to which he gives just like a very sad little fist bump. And then the last little cherry on top is being wrong about his final guess, which is someone he thought was in the industry, but wasn't. And looking back on it, his reasoning was very, not that deep. It's just, is his cock bigger than mine? Yes. Must be a porn star. No. Absolutely can't be under any circumstances. Not the best tactics, and you can clearly see it didn't pan out super well for him.
We've had a memorable moment from today.
Besides meeting Girthmaster?
Girthmaster.
Got to meet the Girthmaster.
Meeting Girthmaster for the first time, like I've followed him for a while.
What is it about Girthmaster?
He's such a nice, personable person, and also like his dick. But
I'm Girthmaster.
Now this last section here really just upset me. Everyone said their most memorable moment was meeting the Girthmaster. But I have to say, that should be the second most memorable moment behind getting to meet Matt, the Redditor. Like, Girthmaster's a cool name, no doubt. It reminds me of the old WWE wrestler they tried to jumpstart named the Shockmaster, who during his debut fell out of a breakaway thing, and then his Stormtrooper bedazzled helmet fell off, and he also had the worst voice changer of all time. But apparently, unlike the Shockmaster, the Girthmaster is very successful. But I would argue he's not as successful as Matt. I really think he got done a little dirty here. I would have liked to see more people celebrating that they got to meet Matt. But anyway, I had fun watching this. It made me feel a little bit better, so that's about it. So yeah. I'm sure all of us have been lonely and desperate at some point in our lives. It helps build character. But very few of us will ever have the same level of courage as this man I'm about to show you, to step up and do something about it. He said, "Dag nabbit, I'm tired of being alone, and I'm ready for a girlfriend." So, he used his 6th grade choir experience as well as finding an acoustic royalty-free song off Facebook, and then created his masterpiece, a song that dwarfs every other song that's ever come before it, and he sent it to a random girl off Twitter, hoping that she'd marry him, I guess. I don't really know. Let me go ahead and show you.
Hi. So, today on Twitter.com, a man sent me a very long DM about how he found my account and decided to write a song about me.
And they say romance is dead. Who doesn't want some greasy stranger somewhere in the world writing a song about you? I think that's beyond chivalrous. Also, this is something I've talked about briefly, but it's wild. If you're just a woman on Twitter just existing, dudes will DM you sometimes and just give you money for the sake of existing. It's called pay piggies. It's fucking crazy. It's such a wild atmosphere. But unfortunately for her, he wasn't giving her money. He was giving her like the opposite of money. Something that like drains her just having listened to it, which is an awful song. Like this terrible ballad you're about to hear.
This man decided to continue the message by saying that he's never written a song about anyone, not even his wife, and that he had to ask his wife's permission in order to finish the song.
Sorry, just one more quick segue before getting into the song here I need to talk about. This man doesn't have a wife. There's a 0% chance of that. This man's probably never even held a woman's hand before. That was absolutely a play to make it sound like he's getting pussy and like, you know, desirable. Like, hey, look, women love me. I even have a wife, if you can believe that. And I even had to ask her permission to write this song. So, you know, everything's all good. You know, I'm not going behind her back or anything. I'm a good guy and women like me. It's just a weird lie this guy's telling 100%.
Whoa, Lauren, you're in your own league. Watched your videos on Twitter just to hear you speak. And yeah, you do sound as cute as you look. Congrats, I suppose.
Gets worse.
She's not wrong, but there's already so much to digest in just the intro here. So this is very Hey There Delilah-esque, if that was written by a psychopath. You can also kind of just feel the desperation oozing from the lyrics here. You have to be in a pretty weird state of mind to think that this is a good idea under any circumstance, just writing a song about a stranger and then sending it to them as your first contact with that person. That's pretty wild. But let's look at the lyrics, you know. Hey there, Lauren, I watched your videos just to hear you speak. And yeah, you sound as cute as you look. Congrats, I suppose. You know, wow, I'm fucking sweating over here. Very smooth, what a silver tongue. The lyrics are inspired, to say the least, but it almost sounds insulting at the end there with the congrats, I suppose. It doesn't even rhyme with anything there. He just like threw that in as if he's like salty about it, like, yeah, congrats, I guess, you fucking harpy.
Lauren, only you know what you could do to my wife, my beautiful children and comfortable life with a push of your will.
Move over, Johnny Cash. Hoo-wee. This one's about to bring a tear to my eye, to be honest. Let's go ahead and go over this one as well. A little pit stop again. Lauren, only you know what you could do to my wife, my beautiful children and comfortable life with the push of your will. I wasn't exactly an English major in school, nor did I really study literature or anything, so I've got to tell you, I'm a little confused on the meaning behind these bars here. But they are fire, of course. But what is exactly the meaning behind it? Only you know what you could do to my wife. What is it, like, does he think Lauren's gonna go over there and beat her ass or something, or replace her? I don't really get it. Like, with the push of her will, she could do something to his wife and his kids. The comfortable life I get, like, he'd leave behind his life to be with Lauren. I understand that. I see what he's trying to say there. But then also, let's go back to, like, the beginning here where he said that he needed to ask his wife's permission to write the song. I could see why. It makes a lot of sense why he'd probably want to ask his wife's permission when he's writing a song all about leaving her for a different woman and throwing behind their kids and his life for a random woman on Twitter. I could see why he'd need the okay from his wife for this, assuming she exists, which she absolutely doesn't. But I'm suspending disbelief trying to understand what this all means, because I don't really get it. I think the whole message there is, I would throw my wife in the fucking sewer and leave my kids at school, tell them I'm going to get cigarettes, if you just gave me the word, Lauren. If it was your will, I would throw everything behind. I'm ready to risk it all for you.
Hey Lauren, are we in common? Are you over trusting? Are you analytical? Do you feel everything?
It sounds like I'm listening to the background track of a shitty commercial with that xylophone hit, the ding, that little bell that keeps sounding with the generic acoustic guitar chords behind it. It just doesn't even seem like it's supposed to be a love song. There's nothing romantic about it at all. It just sounds like a cry for help. This guy should have let me ghostwrite it for him. I'll hit you with a timeless classic to really wiggle your finger to and get you laid. Hey darling, hey, let me love you. Let me kiss your pretty lips. I'm feeling kinda hungry. Let me eat those titty chips. I'll be honest, I'm all alone. But give me your hand and let me give you a home. Yeah. Hey, that's not bad. That's a chart topper, honestly. I'm gonna fucking write that down.
And more, I guess you're like razors of steel, with grace and zeal and sex appeal, all dwarfed by your will be still be.
So anyway, I blocked him.
The nice guy loses again, god damn it. What is wrong with society when a banger like this ends up getting you blocked instead of getting you dick deep in some good high quality vagina? Blows my mind. It makes me sick, honestly. Just couldn't appreciate the fine wordplay and zeal and sex appeal. Oh. In a follow-up video, she showed the DMs here, and they're a lot worse than I expected them to be. So first of all, the amount of comma splices Alan's using here is insulting. So he begins with, "We never met and probably never will, but I had the pleasure of reading one of your articles, and as one does after reading an article, I looked up the writer, in this case you, first hit Twitter, and I had a nose around your Twitter, whatever you call it, feed page, I don't know, but anyway, I got inspired by those first 30 seconds or so because you're quite, well, impressive." God, the way he writes, I can immediately picture exactly what Alan looks like. He wrote this while taking a sip of tea with his pinky out and caressing his soul patch. "So I wrote a song inspired by you, and I've recorded a demo to bring to the studio next week, and I thought it would be a nice thing to let you know. I've never had a song written about me, neither has my wife, or at least I don't think she has, but I imagine you get that all the time." Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's totally normal. What a flex. This is going to be turned into a big song. He's going to the studio to record it. I can't wait to hear it on the radio. 98.9 delivering the hits here with, "Hey there, Lauren, I'm outside your window." He then finishes it off by saying, "My mate/business associate and emailed you pretty much the same thing, but don't know if you actually got that or if I sent it to the right address for that matter. Yeah, red wine on an empty stomach equals messy me." Jesus Christ. One thing about the song, I actually needed to get permission from my beautiful wife to actually finish writing it. Can you imagine? No. No, I can't. I actually can't imagine. You didn't need permission from your beautiful wife to write it, nor did your business partner email it to you, because you even dropped that ruse in the next sentence by saying, "I don't know if I sent it to the right address." So you immediately forgot that you just told her it wasn't you that emailed it. I digress. What a ride. So let's see how he responded to being blocked.
My man said, "Oh, blocked, K. Should have said this is a fictional thing, not to be taken literally kind of thing. Ah, well."
Listen, Lauren, you see, you misunderstood the song. It's a work of fiction, which means it's not weird. This is totally normal, and you fucked up by thinking it's supposed to be real. But if you so happen to choose, I would actually leave behind everything for you. That's not fiction. It's, just one of those things. A little too desperate, I would say. I would say this was really swinging for the fences, and it didn't work out, which is pretty predictable. The song was trash, and the idea behind it of just writing a random song about a stranger you've never met as a way of coming on to her and flirting with her is weird. Even if fucking Harry Styles did this, it would still be a weird thing to do. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, that whole idea just doesn't really track well. So, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. If you were thinking it's a good idea to write a song for a girl you have a crush on and the girl doesn't know you exist, it's not a good idea. Let this be a lesson. That's about it. See ya. I have to talk about these text messages. I can't help it. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I'm only human. These are extraordinary in, like, the creepiest way imaginable. I usually don't like to do the same type of content back to back, and yesterday I covered some text messages as well, but I can't resist the urge. It calls out to me, the void beckons, and I have to speak on these. So, the context. A lady had an old co-worker whom had been fundamentally stalking her for quite some time. Her and her husband had dealt with this individual for a while, and decided to share some of the unhinged messages that they had been sent by him. There was a lot more that happened besides these text messages, but that's what was shared and what I want to go over. Buckle your seatbelt here, because this is about to be a pretty intense ride. This is a good read from cover to cover, if you like lunacy. Hey, I hope your weekend has started nicely. I apologize it took me a few days to feel like I could say this. No need to apologize, goober. I get it. Had to muster up the courage here. Hype yourself up in the mirror so that you could really let the demon out. You need to break up with blank, and then agree to be my girlfriend, with intentions to be my wife. And let me explain why. So he's basically acting like a car salesman here, trying to drive the hard bargain. It's like an episode of Shark Tank. I'm seeking a wife for 10% equity in my cock. I have no doubt he also had a PowerPoint presentation prepared for this, but unfortunately maybe it didn't attach, so it didn't send. I can provide more for you than he can. The independent woman facade you engage in wouldn't be necessary with me. I make more than enough money in my job in order to take care of you and provide you with a lakefront house, which I know is a desire of yours. I can provide you the free time that you often post about and yearn for to engage in your favorite hobby, ceramics. All I ask for you is your devotion in return. I know I am perhaps not physically desirable to you, which is why I plan to compensate with the lifestyle you often talk about wanting to provide yourself. You can really feel the fedora through these messages. It smells of such potent desperation. It's also very interesting that he calls attention to not being physically desirable to her. It's an interesting negotiation tactic. Excuse me, madam. I know you may not be physically attracted to me, but here's how I can make up for my face looking like turbo ass. I know if you could be given an opportunity, you would take it because you mostly desire to be able to experience freedom in life. It is something painful for me knowing you could have everything you wanted if you would simply agree to be my wife in the future. I could also pay off your student loans and car loan, which I know you've expressed desire to have those completed in the next 6 years. I could do that today, with a simple call to your loan companies. All I need from you is to immediately move to my property and begin your new life with me. Jesus Christ, that is concerning. I can pay off all of this. Just come join my cult. And I promise I am not a rapist or a creep. Nothing screams good guy quite like needing to clarify that you are neither a rapist nor a creep. I mean, would he lie to you, right? I mean, that's what a normal person says, like, by the way, miss, I am neither rapist nor creep, so you should feel safe around me. Now come live on my property immediately. I am not going to imprison you, or shackle you, or enslave you to a basement. Well, alright, breath of fresh air. I was a little concerned about that, but now, luckily, he explained it. Now there's no reason to feel alarmed anymore about that being a possibility. You are free to continue your friendships with your womanly friends and your relationships with your family. I would never take this from you. I would never force you into sexual situations you do not want to be in. I know it must sound so strange hearing this, but I feel I must make it clear to you that this is a dream opportunity that will not harm you in any capacity other than dropping your current life, boyfriend, and job, and immediately begin pursuing your hobbies while we plan our wedding. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this guy would absolutely shackle her and imprison her in the basement. But I imagine she wouldn't be alone down there. There's probably quite a few other victims that he has in that basement. This is a fucking unhinged creep. Now, it's important to mention that this isn't just some random person sending a bunch of nonsense. This is a very credible threat to the safety of this woman. So, according to the husband, they had been dealing with this individual for quite some time. And they even went to court over it. There's a lot that this individual has done, aside from just these creepy messages. And it had been a huge problem for them for a while. This is a really dangerous person to be around. I hope you're not overwhelmed. I know we have not spoken very much in the last 6 years we've known each other. I've always known you were supposed to be mine as soon as I met you on March 3rd, 2018. He's got that shit marked in his calendar as the most important day of his life. I've never once inserted myself into your life. I haven't pestered you for your phone number, and we have an occasional chat on Facebook now that we're not in the same office anymore. I've been satisfied with this level of acquaintanceships for years, and I understand that you have been with blank since 2012. I understand you were committed to him prior to us meeting, but blank, you must agree that we have something special. We share so many interests, and we were always able to have great natural conservation. When we would attend lunch together during the workday, it was an effortless and relaxing experience to share those 40 minutes with you once or twice a week. And don't think I forgot how often you paid for yourself, a trait I knew was you trying to assert your independence in front of me. Oh, the delusion. Oh, the delusion is sickening. That's an example of something I've talked about quite a bit on stream, where no matter what, there are people that will view things in an entirely different lens that make no sense. Something as simple as her buying lunch for herself was interpreted, misconstrued by this fucking menace as her trying to assert her independence in front of him. So it's just like this honestly scary situation where something totally innocent, like just buying yourself lunch, has now completely been lost in the sauce of this dude's noodle, where he thinks it was all about him. It's so weird. I knew then you were trying to show me that you'd love for someone to take care of you. I'm ready to settle into a family-oriented life, and I recall you saying you would have children if you had the financial capital to do so. I know you desire to be a mother, despite your current male partner not wanting them. You would make a wonderful mother to our children. I would ensure you had everything you needed to live the family life of your dream. Wow, I just had a voice crack. That was a big voice crack, too. This man's serial killer stalker Riz just attacked my vocal folds. And I know you love to travel. Before we settle down with children, I want to take you to your dream destination list. I've kept track of all the places you've mentioned over the last few years that you'd like to visit. You always share such a beautiful landscape photos. He's like the Zodiac killer here. I bet if this wasn't over Facebook Messenger or whatever, it would have been sent via postage, letters in the mail, using cutouts from magazines for the letters. I want to take you to Japan, to Thailand, to New Zealand, to Greece. Yaw! It's like that classic one. Oregon! Yaw! Fucking the Dean scream. And after that, we'll go to the opal mines in Australia for your dream ring, and then I'll take you to all the waterfalls the islands have to offer. How does this sound? My proposition is serious. You know I am a serious man. I'm turning 45 years old this year, and you are turning 32 years old. It's time to start making decisions about our familial life and how to enjoy our remaining years. Please know I have never offered any woman this proposition. I have a very secure career that I enjoy and will do whatever it takes to maintain in order to have your companionship, sexual prowess, and motherly raising of our children. I will give you everything you desire, as long as you agree to be my wife and raise our children. A very strong negotiation overall. I wonder how she'll respond to this in the Shark Tank. Hey, blank. I wanted to acknowledge that I received your message. It's really long though, so give me a minute to read and respond. That feels more like she's very afraid and is doing this out of pure obligation, like buying time, to figure out how to handle this without setting this guy off on like some kind of rampage, like this violent outburst, which is smart on her part for sure, to like very gently navigate this, because it's a scary situation having a stalker like this. Good morning. I am still awaiting your acceptance of my proposal. I look forward to hearing from you. Oh god, he's dropping the hammer now. It's all business, and he's not taking no for an answer. Good morning, goofball. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know how to respond to this. I don't mean this negatively, but I honestly don't know whether or not to take this seriously. What I mean by that is, I don't know if this is a joke or not. You said this is quite out of left field, so I'm not exactly sure how to respond to you. This proposition is very serious. I have to make serious considerations about my familial life as I'm ready to establish this. I know I can offer you much more than your boyfriend can. It has been 10 years, and he still has not provided you with those things you desire most. I am a better provider than he is, and I will ensure your needs are met. Please, I would appreciate you taking this seriously and giving me a date and time I can come collect your items and move you into my house. It's in northern blank. This guy is already convinced that it's a yes, and now he's just trying to figure out when he should schedule the college hunks hauling junks to come collect all of her shit to move in with him. So now she fully responds to this. Surely you have to understand I can't agree to something like this. My life is my life because I've built it this way. I am not a damsel waiting to be rescued. While yes, I would enjoy an easier path to achieving the lifestyle I want, I don't mind working for it, and frankly, I'm insulted that you perceive my career to be a choice I'm settled to because I have not found the right man. Most importantly, it's another level of egotistical to assume I would dump an 11-year relationship in an instant for a fantasy pipe dream of yours. I mean this seriously. I'm not interested in your proposition. Trading my life for materialistic items and to be breed mare is not something I ever intended to do with my time. I don't know you. You don't know me. You have a limited glimpse into my life through my social media posts. What you see online represents a fraction of who I am as a person. We were co-workers and nothing more. I made this very clear to you in the years we worked together. I was in my relationship prior to even working with you. Yes, you're right, you never crossed that boundary, but instead you spent the last 6 years building a fantasy and dream life in your mind in which you think I would trade my value as a human being for a lake house and free time for pottery. I'm not sure how you became convinced this would be enough to make me leave the life I have built, but I need to assure you it's not. Please do not ask me this again. I am not interested, nor will I ever be interested in being your wife and child bearer. So she lets it all hang out here. She pulls no punches. She sets the record straight and says it right to his face. Well, as close to his face as anyone will ever come through text messages here. Breedmare, now there's no need to insult me. I am not propositioning you to live in solitude and to raise children alone. I want a family. I want you to be my wife, specifically, and I want to build a family with you. I thought you were intelligent enough to understand how great of an offer this is. Buddy, she is intelligent enough to recognize that her life would be in danger saying yes to you, you absolute maniac. You fucking weirdo. She is extremely smart to say no to this, as pretty much everyone on the planet with any level of survival instincts would. You're weird, you're dangerous, you're creepy, you're a stalker. Everyone's going to be saying no to you. I know you're primarily saying no because you don't find me physically attractive. If I looked better than your boyfriend, I have no doubts you would emphatically tell me yes. I didn't know you were so shallow. Oh, now he's going full nice guy mask off mode, even though he wasn't really putting up a nice guy persona in the first place. You would learn to be physically attracted to me just as I learned to be physically attracted to you after you gained 60 pounds. You look much better when you are staying in the 150 to 200 pound range, yet I never said a word to you about the fact that you gained so much weight because I realized you were perfect otherwise. I realized your looks didn't matter when your soul is what I wanted to spend time with. He probably wants to suck her soul out of her body like Shang Tsung. Like, this is a threat to her life, and she is absolutely making the right call, trying her best to get away from this guy and shut it down as hard as possible. It is simply a trade for a house and free time. Oh, the barter method, of course. I am offering you the very thing you constantly talked about and post about, the freedom to enjoy your existence without stress and anxiety. There would be more stress and anxiety with you because you are actually dangerous. It'd be a constant, guessing game of whether or not she's going to survive through the night under your roof. This guy is fucking scary. And he makes it seem like so simple. Simply in return, we are married and have a family together. Yeah, I mean, that's small potatoes. That's nothing. That's no big deal. It's a great trade. You get a house and you get the weirdest man in the world. A win-win. You would learn to love it because our home together would be so peaceful and joyful. However, perhaps you're right, and you are not the woman I thought you were. You're attracted to a low-life loser who filed bankruptcy at 25, hid his credit card debt from you. You pay his bills while he job hops because he doesn't know how to stay at a job for longer than a year. You cried constantly at work and had panic attacks not knowing where the money was going to come from. And what did you do? You worked a second and third job to make ends meet while he piddled away at putting in applications and not manning up to do what he needed to do. Why are you choosing this weak boy over me? I am mature, career-oriented, family-oriented, and I am a devoted partner. I would never force you into a position to make up for my shortcomings like your boyfriend does. I am better than him in every way, and yet you still choose him. It is baffling to me why young women like yourself want to be with the losers and drug dealers who will end up beating you silly. Keep in mind, this is coming from the same worm, the same specimen, who had to assure her he's not a rapist and wouldn't imprison her and shackle her. I think this guy is the one that most likely would beat a woman silly, because he has all of the red flags you could possibly fucking imagine about a man. I'm going to fast forward through the second paragraph meltdown here, which is just a teary-eyed tantrum with him shaking his fist saying, I thought you were different. You must stay with him for his penis size, because I can't even begin to understand how someone as intelligent as you are would turn down my offer. A luxury life free of stress turned down for a life of second guessing and financial strain? Why? What good reason do you have to turn down my offer? He immediately goes to wiener size. Just another huge insecurity here. So I'm guessing not only is he physically appalling, but he also has a tiny cock. She says, I'm not even going to entertain that message with a response. I don't owe you any explanation about why I'm still with my boyfriend even after all his shortcomings. I don't owe you an explanation on anything, ever. I've been wondering all evening what it could possibly be about me that you're so repulsed by that you won't accept the offer of a lifetime. Yeah, it's such a mystery. What about this perfect gentleman here and scholar would she find repulsive? I'm racking my brain and I got nothing. I have no idea. What could she possibly not like about him? He's such a doll. My friends are also appalled. Why aren't you accepting this? Yeah, I'm sure he has so many friends. He contacts all his friends. He's like, guys, she won't just give up her life and move in with me. What's wrong with this bitch, huh? What's going on? Huh? Is she crazy? She's crazy, right? It's not me. I'm not the problem, right? I didn't think so. It's definitely her. It's everything you have ever wanted, and you're turning it down still? Why? You owe me an explanation after I spent years ensuring I had enough to offer you. That's really scary. If this guy's whole motivation for, like, working hard, grinding, and, you know, getting money is just to try and act on this fantasy delusion with a stranger, that's unhinged. Well, all of this is unhinged, but that one's even wilder because, again, they're not close to each other. They're still pretty much strangers. I'm starting to get very upset by your actions. You have one more chance. Anything less than an emphatic yes will not be accepted. So he tries to, like, bring it down, an ultimatum. Last chance. This is the last ball game pitch here. It's got to be a home run yes, or I'm out. I'm sure this will come as a huge surprise to all of you watching this, but she still said no. In the most polite way possible, fuck off. I don't owe you shit. I'll be blocking you now. Have a great rest of your life. I waited all day to see if your little conniption would resolve and you'd come back begging me for this opportunity. But I see you've decided to block me on Facebook, but too stupid to also block me on Messenger. At least for now. He's now fully in his villain arc. He put on a trench coat, sunglasses, and he's doing this while typing. I see you've blocked me on Facebook, but not Messenger. For now. I cannot believe I allowed myself to become entangled in the idea that a beastly fat woman such as yourself would actually choose to settle down with me. I can do so much better than you, and yet here I was offering you a way out of your wretched life. We both know you're settling with blank because you're too lazy to lose weight and make yourself more attractive, and you've trained him to be okay with your fat. I was willing to let your fatness go to the side because I knew if you had free time, you'd lose the weight and retain a more attractive figure for our relationship. I'm embarrassed I've spent so much time preparing for this moment and was wasted on a fat whore who doesn't know when she has struck gold. I truly thought you were different, that you actually wanted a nice man to be with. I see I was dead wrong. And she says, you can literally suck the juices out of my fat blank and choke on them, you absolute troglodyte. So at least there's a happy ending here. It ended on a positive note for both parties involved. So this guy did end up doing the quintessential nice guy sign-off, that standard song and dance of, you know what, I'm better than you. I should have never wasted my time with you because you're fat, and you're a whore, and you're chunky, you're chubby, and I hate you. You're tacky, and I hate you. You're fat, and I'm a nice guy, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. You blew it. You blew it. It's on you, and you should feel bad. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's where the text message journey comes to a conclusion. Like I said, there was a lot more outside of text that he did, but I only wanted to focus on the texts. Hopefully they don't have to deal with this individual anymore going forward, and yeah, that's about it. See ya. Online dating's pretty tough. I remember when I was a single man using Tinder, my go-to line was, do you like Brendan Fraser movies? It worked to tremendous success. It was like a real-life cheat code for getting laid. But I understand not everyone's going to be as suave as I was. However, I'd argue nobody has less game than the guy I'm about to show you. This should lift your spirits. If you ever feel bad about yourself, like, damn, I suck at online dating, just know you'll never be as bad as this living, breathing organism I'm about to show you. For those that have been around the channel for a while, you'll know that I've always enjoyed reading horrible flirting as well as just really disastrous, like, romance attempts online. I used to have a whole series going through Facebook flirting, which is where I learned about, you know, bitch lasagna, as well as also a line I still use today, put your ass in my asshole, baby. Things like that. I've always loved it. I don't really make content around it anymore, but today I had to come out of retirement. I had to dust off the old championship belt here for this one because I saw this on Reddit and I was smiling ear to ear. It is so bad. So this is where our journey begins. Now, again, this was posted to Reddit, so there's like a 90% chance it's fake. But god damn it, I'm gonna suspend disbelief and just enjoy the ride. Now, of course, I'm not an expert here. Rick wouldn't call me into the shop on Pawn Stars to check the authenticity of this piece, but there are countless of very real examples with pathetic dudes that go just like this. So, there is a good chance it's real. So these two have been talking for a little while, and my man comes in with the clown shoes and asks, "Are you on birth control? I know it's a personal question, but kind of important to know." And then they say, "Okay, I'm canceling Wednesday." This could have gone better. This is suboptimal. This is a rough start right here. If it was a speed run, this would be a reset. This is about as bad as you could expect. He immediately ruined the date that they had planned by just immediately going full hog and just sending it. And from there was no recovering, and it gets real bad. He does not handle this super well. There was no grace or elegance. "Lol, I'm kidding, dude, relax." He's just, it's just stand-up comedy, honestly. He was practicing his material. Why are you overreacting? "I'm uncomfortable with these jokes." "Okay, sorry, I'll stop." "Okay." "No, I'm still canceling it." And now we get into his Joker arc. "Well, that's really your loss for being so uptight, but okay. I'll just go to work and make $900 in 12 hours. Really? You're overreacting. Seriously? And you wonder why you're single? Yawn. Still waiting for your reply. Lol. I actually had you double booked with another girl, so I'm kinda happy you decided to be a psycho. You sure you want to cancel it?" This is a full roller coaster worth of emotion here. This man's hitting all 5 stages of denial within 6 text messages. This shit goes insano style quick. So let's break it down piece by piece. You know, at first it's like, okay, you're missing out on a catch. I'm the perfect guy. I'm a real fucking man. Check my KD in Fortnite. I'm nuts. And you know what? Fuck you. I'm just gonna go make $900 in 12 hours at my job because I'm pulling fat racks. I've got stacks on stacks. Like, I'm kind of nutty. I'm one of the wealthiest men in the world, in fact. Then you can see panic start to set in when the money play didn't pan out. I'm guessing like 5 minutes had passed and he was already hyperventilating and breathing into a paper bag to calm himself down. So he tries to like put it on her like something's wrong with her. She's overreacting. Why are you just freaking out over nothing? It's like that scene in Airplane with that girl who's like afraid of flying. So they start like shaking her. "Hey, get a hold of yourself. Come on, get a hold of yourself. It was just a joke." So then he goes right into his bad boy mode. He puts on his sunglasses and trench coat and says, "You know what? Actually, this is good for me. I double booked you with another girl. So the fact that you're psycho is helpful for me because now I can just go to this other girl. In fact, I was just trying to have like 10 girls to have sex with on the same day, and you were just one of the many. So it's not that big of a deal. But are you sure you want to cancel? Like, I'm totally telling the truth, but are you like sure you want to cancel?" I love that attempt. It's like, I'm so desirable, actually. In fact, I totally forgot I'd already had another girl that I was gonna fuck this day, so it's fine. And then has the audacity to call her a psycho. And I love the way that he says it, "I double booked." This man has clearly never actually had a date in his life. It's like he's just penciling it in on a calendar, as if it's like a part of his job. Now we make a transition into Act 3 here, into just full-blown neediness and scary obsession. "Please call me, please. I'm at work, dude." Lol, I know. I'm just being incredibly annoying to show you how most guys act, so maybe you'll realize I'm not that bad. "So I'll see you Wednesday?" That doesn't even make sense. You were fine until that joke. This is a Hail Mary. This man hatched the ultimate plan. So after he realized that by begging to be called back, it was a bit much, a rare moment of self-reflection, he's like, okay, yeah, it's a bit weird. So then he's like, how do I get out of this now? I've got it. I was actually just pretending to be needy and obsessed. It was called acting. I was actually just doing this to show you what most other simpletons do, not a sophisticated, nice guy like me. So I'll see you Wednesday, right? Dude, I was kidding with you. It's a joke. You do know I'm a doctor, right? My brain thinks at a much higher level than yours or the average person. It wasn't even sexual. It was a joke. And I said if you don't like those type of jokes, I won't joke like that anymore. This should be the end of it. You should be like, okay, cool. And then if I do it again, then you get pissed. Yeah, he's a doctor. Dr. Love, baby. This guy's good. This is real smooth. I have to imagine he's not actually a doctor. I mean, maybe fucking Dr. Evil, I have no clue. But regardless, I love that he's like, I actually just have such a galaxy brain, I'm thinking on a totally different level than you and all of these other plebeians. I'm just too fucking smart. That's my curse. That's the burden I bear. I'm too intelligent, which is why I made this joke. And the joke is a thinking man's joke. It's actually an anti-joke, in fact. You know how there's like matter and antimatter? This is an anti-joke, and now I'm explaining it to you so you don't have the right to get mad about it. You see, you're just wrong for getting upset about it, and it's because I'm so much smarter than you. And I understand that it's not your fault for being fucking stupid, but just know that since I'm a doctor, I know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to joking. You off just get pissed right off the bat and be all rude to someone. That's a major turnoff, and just know. Yeah, she was the one being rude. She was nice enough to give you like a warning that she's canceling. She's like, hey, you're a fucking weirdo and I'm canceling. She could have just said nothing and not showed up on Wednesday, wasting your time by going there. And you just sit there all fucking soft cock in hand waiting and just not even getting a response. But she was nice enough to like cancel to your face. Like, that's far more than you deserved. Okay, so rant over. Are we cool now? Yeah, I think things are good now. I'm reading the room and it looks like he may have solved this problem here and fixed everything. You just talk shit to me. All I said was I'm canceling it. I didn't do what did talk shit to someone. What? Those are not coherent sentences. Of course I'm talking shit to you. You just flaked after I asked for that night off. Do you know how hard it is for me to get a night off work? Continuing further, let's just stop this childish nonsense. I'll see you Wednesday, right? This is that shit, don't take no for an answer, which I think is honestly the worst advice you can ever give someone. No is like the most important answer you should accept. By not accepting no's, you're just gonna go to jail at some point. Like, you're just asking for some kind of awful thing to happen to you. Like, no is an important thing to recognize and respect. And then they respond, you do not need to criticize my sentences. Change of mind and telling you about it doesn't really make it flaking. I was upfront. You said you already booked another date with someone else. Go enjoy it. I don't know why you're trying to with me, especially since you think so little of me already. Man's going full-blown car salesman. Just meet me Wednesday. I'm sorry, okay? Just will not drop it. There is no chance she shows up on Wednesday. This is coming across like an actual serial killer now who's just scratching at his neck for his next victim. Like, he just cannot help but just keep saying, you're coming Wednesday. I know you are. You're gonna meet me here Wednesday. Call me immediately. I'm at work. I'm not going to take the call. Okay, then we are meeting Wednesday, right? Are we cool? I feel like she might be talking to King Ghidorah here, just three separate heads all talking at once and all having different thoughts. One of them is just a fucking android that can only say Wednesday. One of them's just like a spiteful lunatic who thinks that there's some galaxy brain intellect that can't help but shit on her. And then one of them's just like a lobotomized zombie who just constantly just keeps asking, are we cool? Are we good now? It's wild, like the swings this guy goes through on these text messages here. Then he goes all in saying, look, my mom recently died, okay? So I'm kinda not really in the best place to be messed with. So if you could understand that would be great. Please, dude, please answer me. Can you please stop being immature and call me? Now, admittedly, she was being very immature about this whole situation by not understanding such level-headed remarks from a gentleman like this. It really was her being immature, clearly. And I also can't help but respect the actual Xbox Live tactic of saying his mom died. That is unironically 2005 Xbox Live shit right there. Like, your mom's a whore, mom's dead. And it's supposed to be like the checkmate. He actually tried it. It's like, oh, mom's dead, so now you have to excuse everything I've said. And you have to go on this date with me. I'll see you Wednesday, right? Come on, stop being immature. So yeah, anyway, that's where this story wraps up. Hopefully, if some of you are shitty at online dating, this will help you feel a little bit better and maybe help you improve in that respect in some way. Hopefully, none of you are as bad as this guy or anywhere close, but if you're just kind of, awkward and uncomfortable when it comes to conversations via text, maybe this will lift your spirits up a little bit, because you're probably not as bad as this guy. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.